Good morning, traders. This is Barry Wilkie with StartupTrading.com. It is about 9 a.m. Eastern Time on Tuesday, December 16th. So looking back at yesterday's session, right, the first day of rollover for most platforms and traders, just kind of sketchy up, right? Uh, into the opening bell and then just straight back down. It was a very large consolidation, just a liquidation break from that overnight session. Uh, really not a lot to write home about. We had non-farm payroll this morning that come in, I guess, about as expected. Uh, and then as you look at really where we're at, uh, the 680 is still important to 690 with 685 as a split. And the overnight though, we come pretty close to hitting $5 below at 675. We'll look at more of that in a minute, but finally, so that's the title of my video. We finally had a look below. So it's either going to be a look below and go or a look below and fail. So we're trading right around this 680 right now. We'll get into that in a minute, as I said. So we're after creeping down last night and the overnight. We're right around yesterday's session low, and then I'm still looking at for the rest of the until Friday morning, anyways. I'll be looking at uh, just the old contract on the day frame just because the history is a little bit cleaner, and then I'll flip into this, but I'm not trading off of this, just kind of looking at the pattern on the daily candles because there's not much volume going back on the other one yet. So but we're just kind of you can see from the Nasdaq, just eyeballing it, you're still around that halfway back is around what we hit overnight, but the ES not even close. I mean, I don't even think it touched the 38.2. Jack will get into more of the technical fibs here when he gets on the mic. Uh, but looking at the overnight session, right, all of the volume basically is below yesterday's settlement, uh, and then and below yesterday's value area for everything except for the Dow, right? The Dow's a little bit more strength, but I do, excuse me, I do want to point out that we did have a large excess in the A period yesterday on every single one of the indexes. So we'll see. That's going to be your bogey to the top side, which is a little bit above value area high or right at value area high for all of the indexes. Looking at positioning, there's not a lot to hang your head on for the cash market. There's just not a lot of large gamma around the neighborhood that we're in on the SPX. But if you look at the SPY, pretty lumpy here. You got that 680 to 690. You can see starting to get some uh, bears taking positions below there. So you got, all the way down to 670 is a pretty good ride. That would be about 100 ES handles down below where we're at now to get to it, but you can see 674, 675 will be that stop in the middle. And this is just for today's. If you look at the week, it's still just, you know, 670's got some gamma on it now, but still for the most part, where you've got agreement, it's that 680 to 685, even stretching up to 688 is where I would say is the meat of the action. So if we're not gonna get that breakdown, we'll probably head back up towards 685, 688 on the SPY. Looking at the Qs. The Qs are currently trading 608 after closing at 610 half yesterday. And then you can see that your agreements between 610 and 615 uh, for the week, all the way up to 620. And then for today, you can see that 608 is really where the bulls drop out, right? It's all just negative gamma for sure with the bears. So 604, 605 will be your first stop on the bus if we really start heading down. And we really shouldn't make any progress below 600 uh, without a major catalyst, on the board. We do have the VIX expiration. A lot of traders don't follow that. That's the VIX is going to roll tomorrow, so volatility should open up between sometime tomorrow into the OpX and the quad witch that's going to happen on Friday. So if we are going to get a crush down, that's usually the window where it would occur from sometime after Wednesday's VIX roll in the morning uh, into Friday's expiration on the quad witch. So if we are going to get a major breakdown and a pullback, that's when it should come into play. So maybe we'll just set some levels that get swept later today, this week, uh, in this session that we're trading currently. But again, until we get outside of what's expected and what's really happening, I wouldn't put too much weight on it. It's starting off today. Um, so, 608 is around where we're trading. That should be around, I guess we're at 609 now, but this should be around the bottom end of liquidity really for today. Uh, unless things get out of hand. And then the top side, you could, really make your way all the way up to 620, but you can see that I would say 613 to 615 would be probably for the euro trading would be the top end. And then you'd really have to see some progress made over 615 to get you going up over there. Looking at where we're at again, uh, that 1 day expected move on the low side. That's what bigger traders and institutions were looking at yesterday coming into today. That's pretty much the overnight low on both the ES and the NQ. So right around this 25,000, 140. You can see not a lot of progress was made under there. You got down to you had some action down to 104 with volume, and then all the way down to 073 with no volume under that. And then for the ES, it's very similar. You didn't have any real progress below 68.37 uh, in the overnight, and then you're creeping back up towards value. And keep in mind, yesterday's value areas were very, very small. So there's high likelihood that those that can trade multiple times the following session, right? When they're that small. So there'll be a battle zone probably in there, and it's something that could trade multiple times today. So the first thing that you want to see is if you can get any action or a test of 25,000 520 basically to 525, and basically at 6902 is what you're looking at for the ES. So holding above there, and keep in mind that as we hit this 1 day expected low range, and it's a pretty tight range, just above that line is where institutions and traders thinking you're not going to get any forward progress on the Nasdaq today. That's going to be right around 25,550, and then for the ES, you're looking up at uh, 69, 23, 24, right around in that area is what you're expecting. But so you could consolidate technically up in that 20, 25 point range for the ES above this distribution that um, think of it as you would have that's your bear trap line basically. You're going to have bears trapped below that line if we start making progress over it. That's when you could get a technical squeeze a little bit higher. I don't think we're going to be taking off to the races. Uh, but you could definitely, screw some people out of this session for sure, especially after getting that look below in the overnight session. So we got that look below on the table. It's either going to be a go or a fail. So 680, I would say probably, I would look at 679 on the SPY. You want to see progress under there uh, or you're just probably heading back up towards 685, which is the midpoint of our old action. I hope this helps. We'll see what Jack's looking at next. You guys have a great day, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.